From a station working for you, this is breaking news from WRTV.
And we have breaking news to begin this midday. An arrest has been made in connection with the worst mass shooting Indianapolis has seen in more than a decade. This arrest comes just over 24 hours after that devastating gunfire on the east side of our city. Our Rafael Sanchez is joining us this midday with what we know about the suspect and what led to the arrest that was announced just over an hour ago. Rafael?
Lauren, good afternoon. We are getting new details by the minute. This was a massive Metro Police operation that really worked around the clock to make this arrest from beginning to end. Some 62 Metro Police officers were part of this investigation. The 17-year-old male arrested in this case is a member of the family that was found dead inside the home at 35th and Adams on the city's east side. Here are the details that I can confirm at this very hour. The motive for the mass shooting still not known. We've learned that police did recover a handgun. I'm told the arrest happened early this morning. The teen was arrested on 2 initial criminal charges of murder and attempted murder. Those charges will likely change when the Marion County Prosecutor's Office actually files charges at some point. The office, at this point, the prosecutor's office, is only confirming that IMPD made an arrest. Now, because the teen is looking at possible murder charges, a state law would not require the 17-year-old to undergo a traditional waiver hearing from juvenile court to adult court. So this teen more than likely will face murder charges as an adult. He'll face those charges directly. No charges, though, have been made, or decisions have been made on any formal charges just yet. Now, this is all happening as area ministers have been on a Zoom call for the past 25 minutes discussing their role in addressing the spike in violence in Indianapolis.
You're going to be speaking to some members of the clergy here locally. What do you hope happens after that conversation?
So I'm hoping today that some of the groups who have not always worked together with each other, that we can now find common ground and find areas that we can work together for the good of Indianapolis and not wait on our political leadership, to give us the marching orders. But we have to step forward now and do our part because I think we can make an impact if we do it together, because there is no one solution or no one silver bullet that's going to help reduce this violence. It's going to take all of us working together.
But we have heard enough is enough. So at what point does that trickle down to action?
I'm hoping, Raphael, that this galvanizes us so that it's not just another meeting, but this time there's real teeth to it and there's real action.
The ministers do plan to release a statement to the press and the public later this afternoon. Again, a 17-year-old teenage boy is in custody in connection to the Adams Street shootings. He is charged with the murder of 5 people and the unborn baby. It is unlikely that we will see a trial in this case for 1 to 2 years. We'll continue to follow the very latest developments as they become available. Reporting live, Rafael Sanchez, WRTV.
Rafael, thank you for that. And we do know the names of the people killed by Sunday's gunfire. The dead include a 13-year-old as well as a young pregnant woman and her unborn child. Here are the names of those victims released by IMPD on Sunday. You can see them on your screen. Right now, a vigil is taking place at the home where the shooting took place. Our own Stephanie Wade and Megan Sanctorum will have continuing team coverage of this mass shooting and what this means for the neighborhood. It's all coming up tonight on the news at 5 and 6 o'clock. Well, we do need to take a turn to something that is really going to impact your work day, your school day, no matter what you're doing, Todd. And you can see it behind you there on that camera, and we can hear it outside. It is sleeting, icing, just an Indiana type of January.
Yeah, it's just a mix of a lot of different precip types and just depends where you are. It took a while to get going here across the metro area, but this is the view from IMS back east towards downtown Indianapolis, and you can see the snow falling here. You cannot see the city skyline, so visibilities have come down as well. And here is the radar, and you can see to the south it is rain. There's a mix with some freezing rain with temperatures still below freezing, and then we're starting now to get that burst of snow and sleet here right north of I-70, and there's a lot more moisture to come. This is the first bigger wave of moisture that is coming through, so the precipitation is going to be pretty steady here throughout the afternoon and into the evening hours. The question is, how quick does the temperature come up above freezing from from south to north throughout the afternoon hours. Here's a little bit of a closer look at some of the precip types that are falling. The bottom line is it's going to potentially be slick for the next few hours if you're going to be out and about, especially watch the parking lots and also your sidewalks. The streets, a lot of them have been treated, so unless the precip gets real heavy, we'll be in decent shape there. But look, we're at 33 in Bloomington. Everybody else is still below freezing, with the exception of Lafayette. Winter weather advisories are still posted. These will expire in some areas this afternoon. It lingers longer where it stays colder longer in northern locations. More on this winter storm moving through the area coming up in Maine weather in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you. We'll check in with you in just a minute. But an overnight homicide on the city's far east side. An investigation is there and it's underway. Police were called in around 2:30 this morning to Redskin Place near 30th Street and German Church Road. When officers arrived, they found one person shot. Medics rushed the victim to the hospital where that person was later pronounced dead. Police have not released any information so far. New this midday, Metro Police have arrested 2 people accused of killing a 40-year-old woman on Christmas morning on the southeast side of the city. Police have charged a 35-year-old man and a 25-year-old woman for their alleged roles in the shooting death of Tiffany Allen. Allen was found dead around 4 in the morning on Christmas Day on South Hunter Road. That's near Southeastern Avenue and the I-465 I-74 interchange. Investigators have not said what may have led to that shooting. And the numbers are typically lower on Mondays due to the weekend reporting, but new coronavirus numbers from the state continue to trend downward. More than 2,200 new cases were reported today. 12 additional COVID-related deaths were also reported by the state. And some other good news, the positive test rate is going down and the vaccination rate is slowly rising. So far, more than 440,000 Hoosiers have gotten at least the first dose of a COVID-19 vaccine. More than 100,000 have been fully immunized. Former U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Jerome Adams is defending himself and his role in the nation's coronavirus response. Adams is also the former Indiana State Health Commissioner. Today, he responded on Twitter to criticism leveled at Dr. Deborah Birx, the former White House coronavirus response coordinator. On Sunday, Dr. Birx went on CBS's Face the Nation and blasted the response to the virus from the former Trump administration. But Dr. Birx and Dr. Adams have also faced scrutiny for not pushing back on some of the former president's misinformation about the virus while they were working for him. Today on Twitter, Dr. Adams said that he and Dr. Birx decided that despite not agreeing with Trump's approach, they wanted to remain at the table so that key issues would be brought before the public. Adams said, quote, "If Dr. Birx or I weren't there, many medical and public health conversations wouldn't have had no input whatsoever from a woman or a person of color. That's a heavy cross to bear," end quote. New this midday, President Biden's flurry of executive orders to start his new administration continues. Within the past hour, President Biden fulfilled a campaign promise to overturn a ban on transgender people serving in the military. Former President Trump signed the ban early in his administration back in 2017. That was 1 year after then President Obama signed the first order allowing openly transgender people to join the military. Well, it's an industry that's seen deep declines during this pandemic. Next, we'll take a closer look at the constant changes in the world of travel and how local travel agencies are hoping to find a way to bounce back. Todd.
And Lauren, most of central Indiana seeing some form of precipitation at this point. It's snow and sleet to the north, freezing rain as you work your way southward of I-70, and then all rain the further south you go. Definitely going to be slippery in spots here throughout the afternoon hours. We'll talk all about it coming up in your WRTV Storm Team Forecast.
Day on ABC.
Welcome back. Hoosiers have been putting their travel plans on hold since last March in many cases, but our own Kelsey Anderson explains the travel industry is having to adjust as the world slowly reopens.
Starting tomorrow, all travelers traveling back into the United States must have a negative COVID-19 test before getting on their plane. And that could be an added expense to your vacation plans, so you may want to check with your airlines before you pack your bags. One of Good Morning Indiana's producers is heading to Mexico for a trip, and on her return, she knows she will have to get a COVID-19 test. American Airlines sent her this link outlining the practices and where they recommend she get that test. One option they sent lets her get checked at home using a testing kit that cost about $150. I spoke with Mark Moorhead, the president of the Travel Agent Inc., and he suggests everyone planning a trip get travel insurance because nobody knows what will happen in 2021.
In the past, we always encouraged purchasing travel insurance. Now, I don't think, I'm not so sure we will enact some kind of requirement that falls into that category in order to protect them. People don't know what they don't know.
American Airlines says if you test positive for COVID-19, you will not be able to return to the United States, and they will rebook your flight at least 14 days after your positive results. And the cost of staying abroad for 2 extra weeks would be on you. When our Good Morning Indiana producer returns from her vacation, we are going to lay out everything she went through during her trip as far as COVID-19 protocols are concerned. Working for you, Kelsey Anderson, WRTV.
Kelsey, thank you. Now, we are closely watching the weather this midday. A wintry mix is making its way across central Indiana at this hour. Here's some video sent in from photojournalist Jason Strong of snowplows hard at work. This is near Ronald Reagan Parkway and I-74. You can see traffic there is still moving along about up to speed, although we're starting to see some crashes on the interstates, so you'll want to use caution, especially bridges and overpasses, as we know things could really get slick. We're going to check in with Todd and get his full forecast for the rest of the afternoon. That's all coming up here on the News at Noon. Stick around.
Right now.
Welcome back. We are following more breaking news at this hour. This is a live look at Westfield High School, which is locked down at this time. Here's what we know so far. Westfield Washington schools tell us that they received a threat aimed toward the high school around 11 o'clock this morning. Now, the school immediately told students and staff to shelter in place, and Westfield police were called to this scene. Police then secured the building, and the school district says all students and staff are safe at this time. That's all we know so far, but our crew will remain at the scene, and we'll have updates for you just as soon as we get them right here on WRTV and at WRTV.com.
Lose your sense of smell and your sense of taste. Things change, things that you just take for granted that you don't even think of.
COVID-19, the loss of your sense of smell, and fires. It's a potentially deadly combination during this pandemic. Our own Nikki Dementri spoke with a Fishers fire captain who says the warning he has for the public is personal.
I've been in the fire industry for over 30 years. And this year has been like no other.
And it's been a year like no other for so many.
Yeah.
And Captain John Mayling with Fishers Fire Department is speaking out with a warning for those who may experience a loss of smell due to COVID. It's something that's personal for him.
I got every possibility that you could have with COVID-19 from all the symptoms. And the taste and the smell still have not come back for me, and it's approaching 2 months into this now.
Can't smell smoke. It's a situation that has already played out in other parts of the country. And while thankfully there have been no accounts in Fishers yet, Mayling wants to make sure it stays that way.
You have about 3 minutes to get out of a house that's on fire. If you don't have that smoke alarm going off and alerting you, or you can't smell that smoke to get out, that 3 minutes is diminishing quickly.
Cooking and cleaning are the two areas of concern with loss of smell. If mixing cleaning chemicals like bleach and water, Mayling suggests doing so in a well-ventilated area and finding a buddy who could alert to a toxic smell.
If you're putting too much bleach into that solution, you don't know because you can't smell it. So at the point where you realize that solution is too great, it may be because there's a chlorine cloud appearing in your residence.
With cooking, Mayling says it's important to stay in the kitchen to monitor things and make sure smoke alarms are up to date. He suggests monthly tests to make sure smoke alarms work, changing batteries at least once a year, and changing the actual alarm every 10 years.
It's really important that we have those smoke alarms that are working and that they can be your nose, if you will, that there's something going on and you need to react to it quickly.
Working for you, Nikki Dementri, WRTV.
Nikki, thank you. Now, the captain also says you should be conscious of what you're doing. A loss of smell can impact more than just cooking and cleaning hazards. It can also mean not being able to smell gas or a chemical leak. That's why officials say it's imperative to be aware of your surroundings. Let's take a live look outside right now. We have quite a mess on the interstates. Here's just one live look at one traffic snag we're dealing with this midday. This is on the northeast side, 465 and East 56th Street. At this hour, we know that there's at least one crash in the area. It's blocking a left lane of traffic, creating these stop and go conditions. You can see we have a police officer pulled off to the side of the road there in the shoulder. As you're traveling up 465 past this area, you're going to run into another crash near the I-69 and on the east side on I-70. Some slowdowns due to a crash on I-70. So crashes really on all sides of town, Todd. At this hour, the map is turning from its normal green to yellow, meaning that conditions are causing drivers to slow down no matter where you are around the metro area.
Yeah, you know what it is. You know, we didn't really have a whole lot. There was some light rain, some light freezing rain and sleet, and then all of a sudden, boom, the heavier precipitation comes in. And a lot of times when the precipitation gets heavy and comes down faster, it can cool itself and it turns into snow. And that's exactly what we're dealing with in and around the metro area right now. Here's another view of the snow coming down as you look from Speedway back towards downtown Indianapolis. So we need a couple things to happen here. One, we need the temperatures to slowly climb, which they will here throughout the course of the afternoon hours. And we need this heaviest of the precipitation to move off to the east, and it should happen here throughout the next couple hours. But conditions will be still slick in spots, at least for the next couple hours, as this big push of heavier precipitation streams from west to east across the area. We'll give you a little bit of a closer look, and especially in these darker blues, that's where the snow is coming down, coating the roadways really quick. Our snowfall totals are not going to be great in here, but obviously, as Lauren just showed you on that, Kim, it doesn't take a whole lot to quickly put a coating down on the streets and the highways and really mess things up on the roadways. But eventually some of this warmer air is going to lift to the north, where we're just dealing with rain right now in Bedford, kind of toggling back and forth between snow and freezing rain in Bloomington, as well as the Columbus area. There's thunderstorms just to our south in Kentucky, but this wave should go through pretty quickly. By about 2-3 o'clock, we're probably done with most of the heaviest of the precipitation, and temperatures are above freezing in Bloomington and Bedford right now, still below as you work your way to the north with the exception of Lafayette. And notice as this precipitation moves off, the temperatures will start to warm. By the time we get to 6 o'clock, we should be above freezing in most locations. The exception for those of you to the north, you'll continue to deal with these below freezing temperatures and the potential into the evening and overnights of slick conditions. But our temperatures actually hold pretty steady overnight. And so southern locations, you shouldn't really have to worry about much in the way of refreezing overnight. But those of you to the north, all the way into the Tuesday morning commute, will have to pay attention, especially to those bridges and overpasses as far as slick conditions go. And then we kind of deal with rain showers off and on throughout the day tomorrow. Again, snowfall totals are not going to be all that high. We're only looking at a couple tenths of an inch of snow, but ice conditions will be our bigger concern because we're looking at a couple tenths of an inch of ice accumulation potential. That's not enough to bring down power lines, not enough to bring down trees, but it is enough to cause issues on the roadways with some light icing. So that will be our bigger concern going forward throughout the remainder of the afternoon and evening. Again, tomorrow, some rain showers, some slick spots in the morning with temperatures right around freezing. But the next couple hours is going to be the worst of this winter weather moving through, Lauren, as by the time we get to the evening hours, we get rid of the heavier and steady precipitation and taper it off just to some light scattered rain and or snow showers.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. And let's take another live look outside right now from our tower camera at the snow coming down. INDOT East Central, the district that covers here around the metro area, they say conditions are changing. Slow down. There's slush on the roads as conditions change, and they do have a base of salt from their pre-treating, but they say you still need to take it slow because it's slick out there. We'll have more on this and your forecast coming up after the break.
The strength to make a difference.
Welcome back, and here is another different look at a spot you'll want to avoid. The northeast side, northbound I-465, stop and go. Delays of up to 20 minutes due to a crash near I-69 at this hour, and you can see those changing conditions, Todd.
Yeah, and Lauren, the heaviest of the precipitation is now through about 3 p.m. Then it should taper off to more in the way of scattered showers. It's kind of a mixture of rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow. The snow accumulation won't be all that great, but definitely slick spots with the icy and sleet conditions as well.
All right, Todd, thank you, and be careful out there. if you do have to head out the door. Thanks for making us your choice for news. We'll see you back here at 5.